One of the areas that's of particular interest to me is that of asthma. When most people think of asthma, they think of something very dramatic, somebody who's wheezing and carrying all kinds of inhalers, and if they don't get this or the other thing, something bad will happen. It turns out most cases of asthma are nothing like that. This frustration I saw in different phases of my career. At the University of Maryland in the emergency department, as director of their asthma program, throughout the urgent care foundation, and now most recently. You see, what asthma is a perfect example of an inflammation-mediated problem. So what are we talking about here? Everybody catches a cold, but people with asthma, or we call it reactive airways, react differently to the same cold. They don't necessarily wheeze, although some of them do. They cough more than others. The pattern is very, very classic. The cold starts in the nose with a sniffle, not much to write home about. People blame it on allergies or the weather changes or I have a head cold. Next, you know, they may get a voice change because now the inflammation, the swelling has extended to the vocal cords. Now comes the cough. The cough is dry at first, irritant, not much to think about. Then the inner lining of the airway starts swelling up, mucus and phlegm and congestion. So why can't anybody else fix it? Because these problems are worse at night than during the day. Inflammation as a routine is always worse at night than during the day. If you have joint pains, you can be sure your joints are going to hurt more at night than during the day. If you're prone to headache, you tend to have it more at night than during the day. If you have digestive issues, watch out, your tummy is going to hurt more at night than during the day. It has to do with our circadian rhythm. It's the way we're wired. Our body inflames more at night than during the day. So the poor child coughs a lot at night, coughs so much that it disrupts their sleep, coughs in spasms, cough, cough, cough. So much so that sometimes they throw up mucousy stuff. And the point of frustration, family says, I can't take this anymore. We better check my child to the doctor. We go to the doctor. They look at the child and looks pretty happy to me. They pull out their stethoscope. They take a listen and say, hallelujah, there's no wheezing. Off you go to your home. You have a cold. And the night comes and the story repeats itself. Are they not intelligent? Are they not experienced? They are intelligent. They went to medical school. They're providers. They have abundant experience. But if we rely on our stethoscope more than we rely on patterns, on knowing the individual's history, the family history, knowing the limitations of what we can hear now versus what happens at home at night, that is a perspective that is lacking in traditional medicine. So what do we do differently? The first thing I ask is, tell me who gets bit by mosquitoes in the family. Everybody always laughs. This is a funny thing. It has nothing to do with my cough, but it's a perfect point of introduction to say, just as you react differently to the mosquito bite, your airways react differently to the cold or the virus or the pollution or the allergen or whatever it might have been. Just as there is itching and swelling here, there's cough and mucus here. Just as we might put a cool rag on here or put some steroid cream on here, we will give you an inhaler or even give you systemic steroids. Does it mean you have a terrible illness? Not necessarily. It does mean that you're prone to different kinds of reactions. Call it asthma, call it schmasma, I don't care. As long as we get to the root of the problem and we make you sleep better and get you feeling better, my job is done.